Welcome into Paul Catalina's Top 5, rolling through our Disruptors this week when it comes to the playoff. Of course, we're brought to you by Texas Beef House. Go to bidonbeef.com, get ready for that auction. Use our promo code 365sports at checkout for a discount. Our top 5 Big Ten playoff disruptors. Some of these only have one game left, some of them have two, but interesting we'll go through to see how the playoffs and the tiebreaker scenarios could get even more confusing with some upsets down the stretch. Number 5, Minnesota, the Gophers. All right, so down the line, Minnesota still has a game against Penn State. An upset against Penn State, obviously, especially since Penn State could lose this weekend to Ohio State, would really put them behind the 8 ball. Minnesota's been better than most expected this year, and I kind of expect to see one more heroic performance out of them this season. Will it be against Penn State? Who knows? Number 4, Michigan. But Michigan sucks, Paul. Yeah, that's true. They're not good. They've not followed up the national championship well. Everything is topsy-turvy in college football, but Michigan still has games against Oregon and Ohio State and Indiana. So they should probably be higher on this list, but they have a chance to wreck a lot of playoff hopes, and a loss to Michigan, because they are not good, would really put a dent in somebody's strength of schedule record. But they have Oregon, Indiana back-to-back weeks, and then, of course, always end up the season with the game against Ohio State. And again, Ryan Day hasn't beat them. He hasn't beat them. So maybe this is the most embarrassing loss to Michigan that Ryan Day will ever have, if that should happen. Again, we're playing the what-if game all week long here in the top 5. Number 3, Wisconsin. Wisconsin has a game left against Oregon in a couple of weeks. That game is at home. It's in November, and it should be cold in Madison. So the Badgers jumping around over Oregon could be dashing some of their playoff hopes. Now, if that's Oregon's first loss, probably not, but a loss to Wisconsin could certainly shake things up inside the Big Ten. Number 2, Ohio State. How can they be a disruptor? How indeed? Well, right now, when it comes to the Big Ten title game, they're on the outside looking in because of that loss to Oregon and the fact that Penn State and Indiana are also undefeated. Well, this week, obviously, they play Penn State. So they could hurt Penn State's hopes of getting in the playoffs, at least that first chunk out of them. Then they play Indiana on November 23rd, and of course, that would maybe knock them out of the Big Ten championship as well. So Ohio State goes from the hunter or the hunted to the hunter, at least for a week, maybe 2, in the Big Ten, but they've got a chance to really affect this and get themselves back in the driver's seat. But let's face it, is Ohio State at 10-2 or better getting left out of this thing? No way in hell. But they could ruin somebody else's chances for sure, or we might be viewing the beginning of an epic collapse. Who knows? College football is unpredictable. Number 1, Indiana. Again, they're already undefeated. They've got to play Ohio State coming up. But after that, really, they're on easy street. They've got, or before and after that, to be more correct, Michigan State, Michigan, and Purdue surround the Ohio State game. So as long as they just lose to Ohio State, or maybe even beat them, they could be sitting pretty, and then everybody would be shocked. But Indiana has a good chance to just take one loss, maybe not go to the Big Ten championship game, and still wind up in the playoff, and then they could wreck somebody else's season from another conference. I don't know, but it's all speculative. Here we go into another week of college football. That's going to do it for now. We say goodbye in just a sec.